question of the week. Rock and roll, sir.
Yes. The question of the week is, what is your favorite thing about conventions?
Ooh.
And while y'all think about that, we
Yep.
do have a call-in from KCJ. So let's see what he has to say.
G'day, Dad. It's Casey here. What's my
G'day.
favorite thing about conventions? It's simply that you are surrounded by people who will let you info dump. That being autistic, it's so easy to obsess over something. And if you have somebody who's completely dressed like your favorite character and willing to let you talk about the intricacies about, Avatar or Pokemon, whatever it is, that is the most amazing feeling. The complete inclusion of a convention. I used to go to a lot of anime conventions when I was younger, and honestly, it was the best feeling ever. Everywhere you looked, there was characters you knew and people willing to talk to you about these characters. Just don't encounter that in your day-to-day life. So that for me is the best thing about cons.
Oh
I love it. I love
That
it.
that is spot on. My wife put in the chat, apparently my middle child Bob he's never been to a convention, but he says the cosplay. The cosplay is the
Love
best part of
cosplay.
conventions.
All right.
So
I cannot disagree. There's
Yeah.
definitely, man, some fantastic cosplay.
Amazing
going on at
detail
Dragon
too.
Con.
Just and clever. Just like Bucky, right?
Yep.
For me, I think the favorite part is the performance and the feedback from the performance. I've been building a game show for a couple of years, playing the other cons, and brought it to Dragon Con for the first time this year. And not only did it have a great room and we had great response, I had people come up afterwards talking about the game show and talking to me about it and wanting to get the little pins that I had made for the prizes. And I love that part. I've been trying to get to that step for a decade now, I guess, and finally landed, and it was so good. And Tyra, we had 102 people playing that game. It broke the game because there's only 20
Yep.
people on the board, and the most I've ever played was with 30. So normally you see names flip out. Joe did me a solid and flipped out some names so we could show up. But yeah, it is a whole different beast when you've got 100 people playing. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Especially the round 2. We didn't get to see the twist in round 2 for a couple of rounds into round 2, a couple of turns. So
yeah. We'll keep telling our own favorite stuff and we'll come back to it. So John and Joe, Tyra, what you got? Favorite thing about con?
Tyra's a little confused. She's
Joe.
like, who's this John that you're talking about? For me, it's just the interactions and seeing people that, for the most part, I don't see except at Dragon Con or at other conventions. Like Tyra, I see Tyra a few times a year at various conventions, and that's always a lovely interaction. And just, I get to see my people. And so that's a ton of fun. And like just the spontaneous interactions as well. Like, for instance, I was in the volunteer village and just relaxing, and one of the other volunteers came over and sat next to me, and we got to talking. She was a volunteer for the space track, and so I got to hear some of the different things that she really liked about being a volunteer on the space track, and just different interactions that may or may not have anything to do with the actual panels that are going on, but it's a ton of fun.
All right, Tyra.
Well, I would say that for Dragon Con, it's just different. Dragon Con is home. It's like coming home. It is. I was just writing about this today. It's the place where you're not different. You're surrounded by family, and it's just beautiful. And the diversity and the acceptance that we have within that family is amazing. And it's been something that I've watched grow for 37 years or 38 years, and it's amazing to me. Cons in general, I just love because you get to see your peeps and geek out about stuff that, like your caller said, could make other people stare at you strangely.
I mean, you've got to be really out there to have heads turned at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the head turning is because it's amazing cosplay.
Yeah.
Or, something
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, no,
Well, and
by head turning I meant like
I know what you-
disapprovingly.
yeah. But we have all levels of cosplay too. I mean, we have some amazing stuff, and then some people that are just dipping their toes in, and everybody is supportive of both sides of that. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
I think the most judgment that I hear at cons is usually the people who are there at like 10 p.m. with a toddler in tow who is clearly overtired, overstimulated. I think that's the biggest amount of judgment that I see at conventions is in that regard.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with them either.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with them.
No, that's a little on the selfish side. Just, I mean, I understand, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place, and it's called before
Yes,
10
ma'am.
o'clock.
Yep.
I'll say, Tyra, to that point of the judging the cosplay or whatever, the first year, might have been the second year actually, I went to pick up my ticket and I was a little judgy because quite literally all the guy did was glue a Pokemon ball to the brim of a plain hat, and Scratch was a Sharpie Pokemon on the hat, and that was it. I was like, come on, man. I put on regular clothes, I look better cosplay. And so yeah, but
But
it's
he's
not my place.
trying. He's
Not my
trying.
place.
Maybe
I
that is
think he
as
was
much
trying
out
to
of their
troll,
comfort
maybe.
zone they could get.
You know what? Maybe. And so, yeah. Devocite. What you
Hey.
got? What was your favorite thing? Okay, first off, I would think that you've been to other conventions before this one.
I have.
So,
All
okay, in
technical.
general.
Yeah, a lot
Okay.
of technical
Oh.
stuff.
So no
Ooh.
sci-fi fandom conventions.
No, not really.
Ooh.
I mean,
you've
you
been
know, I mean,
ruined.
I'm well, maybe.
Goodbye, Cherry.
Ooh, well, I have to say, you know, kind of what you were saying about Tyra, about where it was like, you know, coming home. And there was also something said I heard in the convention or in the vendor hall, is they were talking about someone who had played a role in like wearing that costume out in public, and this was back in the 80s or 90s. And with the change in perception and the more, I guess you'd say, geek culture bubbling up and becoming more prevalent, that they're now excited to wear that out, and people are, oh, that's really neat. And so it's things like this that, you know, a nerdy little boy with his comic books and watching Star Trek and reading, you know, sci-fi. Now it's like, hey, that's kind of cool. If I, you know, years ago, if I'd said, oh yeah, listen, I read Asimov.
Oh, me
Who's-
too.
Who? You know, now it's like, oh yeah, Asimov, yeah. And so it's pretty common. I would say that also it kind of I can kind of see this turning into just like, to an extent, almost like his own little family reunion at times. You
Mhm.
get to go because, you know, sometimes people don't see but once a year, as you just pointed out. And when you said that, it kind of resonated. So, you know, coming back and saying all of you, and not that we don't stay in contact. It's just there's something about that
It's just
face to
different.
face, right?
Yeah.
And I think was really neat. And above all of it, being in the track and working with Joe, Vito, Elaine, Cricket, so forth, you guys, wow. I mean, that was John. I hate to leave anybody out because it was really fantastic. I think Charles is having a seizure over there.
Me and Joe,
Is somebody?
just leave it, Joe. Me and Joe had the same thing going on in our heads. It's fine. We worked together for years. We got it. It's
Okay.
good.
I saw the look on your face. I knew
this is your
exactly what
first-
you were thinking.